Now, using the data that you've entered before in the client database, we're now going to go through and write your client's food suggestions. So this is very good software. So what we can do with this is we can use either a flexible dieting protocol, or we can actually go through and write something pretty thorough if you like. So what we'll do is we're going to choose your client. So we choose John from before. So what that's going to do is that's going to tell us how much food John needs. Alright, what we're going to do from then is we're going to allocate serving sizes of food. So what we find over here is a list of protein-rich foods, carb-rich foods, or fat-rich foods. Now for men, all of these serving sizes are going to be 100 calorie blocks. For females, it's going to be 50 calorie blocks. So because John's a man, each of these serving sizes adds up to 100 calories. So what we're going to do is we can plan when John's going to eat those serving sizes, how many servings he can choose from these lists over here, and from then we're going to build an entire food plan. So I'm going to go through and just use an example. So 6 AM, 9 AM, 12 PM, 3 PM, 6 PM, and 9 PM. Cool. So pretty stereotypical. We're going to get him eating every 3 hours. Now, what we're doing now isn't actually properly teaching how to write a diet or anything like that. We're just going to go through a complete example. So let's say we want to give John 2 serves of protein every meal. So let's go consistent protein for the day. From then, we're going to give John the carbs when he needs them. So let's say we want to give him 3 servings of carbs for breakfast, and usually he trains around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what we'll do is we'll just make a note of that. So a bit of a pre-workout feed and a bit of a post-workout feed. So we're going to give his carbohydrate around when he needs them. Now what we see over here is every time we add a serving size of food, the total calories is going to add up over here. So our number one goal is essentially get the calories to match up. So we're going to get John to 3,300 calories. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him fats around the time when he's not training. So we're going to give him 2 servings through most of the day. So for example, we've got John 2,500 calories, and he needs to get to 3,300. So we're just going to go through and basically just tinker around a little bit until we find the right amount of food that he needs. So at the end of the day, the calories are predicted for him to hit his goals by a certain time. The calories are the most important for us at the moment. And let's just say John gets a little bit hungry at dinner time, so I'm going to give him a little bit more there. So now we've got everything added up, and what we have down here is a visual representation of how John's energy is distributed through the day. So we've got his protein here, his carbs, and his fats. So he can visually see that he's eating his carbs around when he's training and breakfast. So theoretically when he's going to need some of that energy. So with this alone, what John can do is go, I need to eat 2 servings of protein at breakfast, comes to the protein column and looks at all these options. Later on we're going to show you how to add foods and take away foods and things like that. But from then, it's a very easy and simple way for John to follow a structure that's going to get him to his results. Now, if you want to be a little bit more specific, what we can do is not necessarily write a diet, but we can go through and suggest what John should eat when, how you would do it, for example. So over here we can see essentially the data that you've entered in up here. We can see down here, so we can be reminded that John needs 2 servings of protein and 3 servings of carbs in the morning. So let's say complete random, we're going to get John to have a scoop of powder in the morning. We're going to get him to have 2 servings of that, which is his 2 servings of protein. We're going to get him to have those with oats. Now all that's going to do is add up the serving sizes for him. So John has a pretty strict breakfast there. And basically we go through and we fill out everything that we need to fill out. And Personally, I would base this around what your client likes and actually wants to eat, which is why flexible dieting has been so successful. At tops, this is only going to take you about 10 minutes to do. And once again, this is all completely random. This isn't an actual diet. So we'll leave it there to save some time. At the bottom of your food plan, you can write any notes that you need to write. So a complete example, we will go, you need to do your food prep on a Sunday. Perfect. So the other little extra bonus we have in here is if you want to get a little bit more specific, what we've got down here are just some tips for you that may help. Now, we're not actually going through and writing dietitian type diets, we're going through and giving suggestions. But if you wanted ideas of how to distribute proteins, carbs and fats, there are some examples here. So it'll tell you, let's go to high carbohydrate diets. It'll give you a description of it, the benefits, the times you wouldn't use it, and some little tips in there to make the whole process a little bit easier for you. Down here we've got sports nutrition. So if you've got a client who is doing some pretty heavy training, we get examples of how to use protein, carbs and fats to fuel them during their heavy performance, and how you can get them to recover from the heavy performances. You can use this before you come up and write your diets up here.